right, you're playing touch butt with that dork in the park.
There's a little snake in the grass.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
No forget Jesus, people.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I back.
Who the fuck is that guy? Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
I would like to introduce...
Welcome to the MMAforMoney Show, episode 88. Like the hands on a Rolex watch, we just don't stop. I am your host, Mike Copenhaver, aka Real Mike. You can find me on Twitter at Don't Cope Just Win. I'm joined with my producer and co-host of the show, T. How you doing today, T?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight?
Well, stoked to be here with you, bro, and talk about some UFC last weekend and talk about a bunch of MMA going on this week. But first off, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors of the show. First off is MELIN, Melon brand hats. They're some of the best luxury line hats in the world. They use really, really dope fabrics and really just intricate stuff and patterns that they use. And so go check them out, Melon brand hats. It's been my buddy's company. He's one of the co-founders. And so I've been supporting it since he started. And now he's super big time when it comes to the hat company and apparel line. So shout out to Melon brand hats. So go over there and show them some love. Secondly is my Foci stuff, Foci clothing, the Guam alien gear. They have some of the coolest stuff there is coming out of Guam. Definitely been OG into the MMA scene since back in the day. Renan Ferreira sponsored by him. My brother was sponsored by him, War Machine, before he did doing a stint. Herman Torado, a bunch of really, really good fighters. So stoked to have Foci clothing and stuff. So go to FociStuff.com, get yourself a shirt, a beanie, a hat, show them some love and support the Islanders. Last but not least is my third sponsor and last one, Spliff Seeds Amsterdam. If you go over to Spliff Seeds, it's genetic lines for MJ. If you look at Lemon Cream Kush, it's my plant featured. I'm, like I said, sponsored by them, and you push all their genetic lines, and it's some of the best stuff. So go over there to Spliff Seeds and just give them some love and get yourself genetics for this growing season. But with that said, just wanted to say shout out to all the 31 of you live and just say hello to Jackie Girl there in the chat. I appreciate you guys there and listening. And just wanted to say shout out to the sponsors as well. But with that said, we got to go over last weekend's UFC, Vegas 25, Reyes versus Prashak, Yuri Prashak. Man, dude, it was an amazing event. Another W for the MMAforMoney team, but I'll get into that as we go into it. So I'm going to quickly review the card, and I'll stop maybe whenever there's something exciting. But first, fight of the night, we had Luke Cool Hand Sanders. He fought Felipe Colares. Felipe Colares ended up winning the fight. It was a 3-round decision. He just ended up, it was a close fight. So the judges were a little iffy this night. There was about 2 or 3 fights that were questionable, but this one fell in Colares' favor, and Colares won the 3-round decision. And then we had Andreas Michailidis, who fought KB Buller. And like I said last week, I just felt like Andreas was going to be too tough for Buller, and he showed that in a 3-round decision where he kind of just bullied Buller all around the cage, no pun intended. And now we had Loma Lookboom, who fought Sam Hughes. Well, Loma looked, she was a -3/400 favorite, and she pretty much looked the part, throwing Sam Hughes pretty much around the ring, hip tossing her, judo tossing her. It was pretty clean, especially for being the smaller fighter. She definitely used it to her advantage, won that 3-round decision. And what looked like the whole night, it just felt like it was going to be decisions, because that was 3 in a row, and it did not stop here when Poliana Botello fought Luanna Carolina. Somehow they had Luanna Carolina. Sorry for that hiccup. They had Luanna Carolina winning this fight on the judges' scorecard. I had Poliana winning it, but I really don't care because we didn't bet on that type of MMA. But that definitely killed some parlays and definitely hurt some people's money line. So if you did bet that one, it was not very favorable. Shout out to Papa Prime.
You could have got Luanna live at one point in that fight, I think for like +900 or something crazy. I think it was in the first round.
Yeah, that's why the odds are just so the odds were so crazy, because Poliana was winning it favorably. But it is what it is. Luanna won the fight, and that's how it is in the record books. But it definitely started some parlay busters. And then the next up was Kai Kamaka fought TJ Brown. Last week, I said I like TJ Brown as an underdog. Somehow he cashed this bet too. It was in round 3. It was a 3-round decision. Kai Kamako looked really good to me, and I was actually really worried about this fight for TJ Brown once I saw how mean Kamako looked in there, in the pocket, throwing just big bombs, man. And she just took leg kicks well, just really good all around game. I thought Kai Kamako won, but that can be argued with a bunch of people. So TJ Brown ended up winning that fight and cashing as a plus, I believe, 170 underdog. So shout out to you guys, whoever took our advice and went with TJ Brown because he cashed there. Then last on the preliminary card, we had Rhonda Marcos fought Luanna Panero. This one was really funny, man. Luanna came out really mean and aggressive and was just kind of throwing Rhonda around, hitting her in the face at will. I really felt like Rhonda Marcos was going to be fucked. She ended up, I believe, on her back and threw an up kick that hit Luanna in the face. And then we had an Aljamain Sterling award where she got hit and then she realized like, oh, shoot, that was an illegal hit. So let me flop. She definitely got hit. I'm not trying to say she didn't, but she flopped like Ginobili Parker did for the Spurs in NBA. But that could be, misconstrued to everyone. But shout out to Jamie Birch in the chat. Kevin KCMO, appreciate you being here. Like I said, Papa Prime, all you guys, thank you for the You're on a Roll award from both of you guys. I can't, say thank you enough times for all you people who support the show. But so last weekend on the preliminary card, I was an upkick by Rhonda Marcos that got her disqualified. She ended up losing the fight from the DQ of the upkick. So it was everyone's all pissed off at Luanna. I understand she flopped and she would look soft and she didn't want to go in there and fight anymore. But she was winning. She was dominantly winning. I don't think that she was going to lose that fight. So, it was an illegal blow. I think that these kicks should be illegal. I'm a big fan of back in the day pride and soccer kicks and all the blows, man. I just don't get why I can shin kick you in the face. I can elbow you in the face. I can do all these things, but I can't up kick you when I'm on my back, bro. Like I just, I don't know, bro. This isn't a jiu-jitsu tournament where we need that type of rules. I'm a savage beast that wants to see people going at it and getting just clobbered. So, I mean, call me what it is, brute, savage, whatever it may be. But I want to see what I saw there, and I want to see the fight continue on. But we got a DQ win for Luanna Panero to end the prelims. So she cashed there as a negative 185 favorite. Then we'll move on to the main card of the evening. Let's see one second. Oh, we had our bet of the night, and it was Merab Dvalishvili doing what he does best, and that's just out cardio, out work, out transition, out wrestle Cody Stamann for all 3 rounds. We put it as a bet last week. I believe it was 2.4 units we put down on him to win 1 unit. We cashed that bet again. That's the 5th bet in a row we've cashed here on the MMA for Money show. 3 weeks in a row, nothing but just straight money. So make sure you're jumping on the team in our bets because we're giving out free picks at a rate better than some of these touts. It just is what it is. Go listen to the show and you can just see the history of it. So like I said, we're stoked that Rob showed his just work ethic and heart and everything. It wasn't that Cody Stamann looked that bad. He just was outworked by Merab for a 3-round decision. Me and T even said it. We liked the Merab by decision prop. So shout out to all you guys who cashed him by money line, cashed him by decision. It was just really easy money. He looked really good to me. I know people were hating, saying, "Oh, he was negative 240, bro." I don't care, bro. Winning is winning. I don't look at the numbers. If it's a reasonable number for me to fire and it's going to win, I'm going to be firing on it. It's not often we do the negative 2.4 units, but we did it there and we cashed it. So what'd you think about that fight, T?
That went exactly how we thought it would go, and we gave out the decision as well. If you didn't want to lay the juice, and Stamann, he's tough as hell, man. He's a tough fighter, but he just didn't match up well with Merab, and it showed every single place. He was better everywhere. It wasn't much Stamann can do, So I was with it. Nice bet, nice cash.
Either way, so stoked about that one, and cash that was the only bet of the night. So we went 1-0 for the night on UFC. The next fight we wanted to bet too as well. I wanted to max bet Merab and max bet Sean Strickland versus Christoph Jocko. Sean Strickland won a mean 3-round decision versus Christoph Jocko, basically just bullying the shit out of Jocko all around the cage. Jocko was on his back foot, circling as much as he could possible to minimize the damage, so Sean Strickland couldn't knock him into orbit. But Sean Strickland looked very, very much the favorite. Negative 270, I think he closed that. It was easy money, in my opinion. Another fight that we were super high on. And so if you cash that bets, congrats to you, because Sean Strickland is a mean mofo, dude. And like I said, I have that I drop him in an alley theory. I'm going to use it later on tonight. And Sean Strickland is the meaner dude. I said it, he would come out of the alley in a bar fight. I know it's not a bar fight, but I like betting on dudes that are just meaner and more aggressive. And Sean Strickland was that dude and ended up on a 3-round decision. Did you see that fight, T?
Yeah, I had Strickland. I actually laid the juice on him too. And I mean, another one that went how I figured it would go. Strickland just walked straight at the dude and just hunted him down basically the whole fight. Just, threw some straight jabs and hard punches.
Nice.
Beat his ass up,
Totally. Well, I just want to say thank you to Ryan Richardson for the monthly sponsorship again. Thank you, bud. That's Kick Your Bass on Twitter. He's one of the best fishermen in the world.
Appreciate you, man.
Yep. Also want to say hello to Lucy Ibar. Appreciate the Super Hard Award. Thank you to Peter Bittner here in the chat, one of the HAPS team members who's made this whole entire platform possible. Always a pleasure and an honor to have you in here. Appreciate to have you, Aaron Weinbaum, in here. Aaron brought up a good statement. He said Merab's work rate is phenomenal, but I don't know if he's how he does against top 10. I agree cold-heartedly, Aaron. I think that he lacks the striking, and he's so aggressive, kind of like Julian Lane, let me bang, bruh. But obviously much better fighter in the sense, but he just has that aggressiveness and where he could get clipped. And if he gets clipped by a left hook or a possible high kick, I could see him getting knocked out or a knee finished in the end. So good point there, Aaron. And, thanks you for coming in the chat and being part of the show. I appreciate all 57 of you live and the 8 awards that you guys have given us. Thank you again, Aaron, for the award. So yeah, we're stoked. Sean Strickland cashed that fight. It was another easy W. So if you listen to the show, I was super high on him. Another almost possible what I wanted to max bet because I just felt like he's just way too good, man. I mean, Sean Strickland is just all around better. But next up on the card, we had Ion Kutlaba. He fought Dustin Jacoby. It ended up being a 3-round decision draw. I don't really have much to say on it other than the fact I was expecting them to kill each other after the weigh-ins. I'm one of the few people who personally, not for the show because I bet much more responsibly for the show than I do off the show. My degenerate gambling happens live. And so I bet the under on this one because I felt like one of them was going to kill each other. And they had definitely, brought that fire, but it didn't happen. It ended up being a draw. So, they both didn't really get hurt, but they both didn't get paid a lot extra. So the next up on the fight was the co-main event, and it was Giga Chikadze. He fought Cub Swanson, and holy shit, dude. I'm sorry, Giga. I picked Cub because he was the OG, but I did not know you were going to throw that mean front kick to, I believe it was the Liv Swanson in one kick, man. Cub caught hit by that, curled up in a ball and straight turtled. I've never seen Cub Swanson turtle so fast. So shout out to you guys who cashed Giga Chikadze with the money line because it wasn't that bad, especially for winning in a first round TKO KO versus a veteran like Cub Swanson. I mean, it really, really was a really sharp performance, especially to take out someone just a vet like that. I really, really can't believe that he pulled that off. Did you see that one, T?
Yeah, it was nice, man. I just showed it. I thought Swanson would give him a fight, just like you said, but Giga got him, man. Looked like he hit him in the right spot. Just crumbled.
Yeah. So it was, the whole night was pretty much decisions until that moment. So everyone was kind of like, they start betting and they're like, oh, well, everything's going to be a decision after that point. But nope, sure as shit. The TKO KO comes after a whole night of decisions and a draw. So it's really funny when that happens because you get caught up betting and hoping that a finish comes. Or decisions are just going to keep going because it was really kind of not boring in the sense, but it was kind of slow. It was a slow-paced night. And then so that KO TKO was really fast and set Cub Swanson down. And then the next one, Holy shit. The main
a
event
hell
of
of
the
a
night
fight.
was Dominic Reyes versus Yuri Prashak. Holy shit, bro. I mean, if you guys watched the fight, just the headpiece that he had set up for his hair was so sick and old school martial arts like. He brings this type of energy that I can't swear Yuri for becoming a new contender in general, because if you bring that good, quiet, calm energy in a sense, and very professional, whether it's your job or your fighting is his job. But if you're bringing that in life, just all around, you're gonna just have a little bit all around better life, because your energy, like Yuri said, he's able to soak it up and use it for good instead of having the nervous energy that we all do have. He just harnesses it differently. So huge win for Yuri. Can't wait to see what he does. And that ended the fights that night, and it made it a lot of fun to end it on a high note like that. But I'm going to be jumping into the PFL 3 that's going to happen on ESPN 2 and ESPN Plus. I believe the starts at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN 2, and then 5:30 is on ESPN Plus for the regular card. So make sure you jump in there and you get to watch the fights, because it's going to be pretty good. I'm only going to go over the main event and co-main event of the night, because I don't want to save you the bore and pretend like I know every single one of these fighters on there when I certainly do not. So this the first thank you, Peter, for the compliment. I appreciate all you do for Haps and having you guys' support. But the co-main event of the night is Kayla Harrison, former Olympic judo champion. She's going to be fighting Marina Reyes. Kayla Harrison's 8-0. She's just like I said, judo champion, really mean with submissions, and she's just really, really strong. 30 years old, 5'8", with a 65-inch reach. Like I said, 8-0. So she's won her last fight by punches in round 2. Fight before that, unanimous decision. Fight before that by armbar, round 1. Key lock, round 1. So she's a finisher, man. She's really, really mean, and she's really strong. And so I know that Kayla's probably going to be a huge favorite, and she is. But let's see what she is. So,
she's minus 2,600, bro.
Holy shit, folks. Do not bet that, but she will win. I guarantee that. Kayla Harrison.
That's just to watch. That's just a fight to watch.
Yeah, Marina Reyes, she's going to be taking on a savage, Mariana has won her last 3 fights, but her last fight she won by punches versus a girl who's 7-3. That record's not that great. Before that, she won a split decision with a girl that was 8-4. I mean, come on now, that's getting bad. Then before that, she won a decision versus a girl who's 12-6-2. Then she lost to a girl who's 8-5. Like, come on, bro. Kayla Harrison is going to slam this girl down, mark my words, and absolutely toss her around, armbar her quicker than you've ever seen. That's why you see the negative 2,600, whatever the odds are for her, because it's just stupid how quickly she's going to just smoke this girl. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but Kayla Harrison's judo is superior than Ronda Rousey's was. And that's one thing that she has over, Rousey, is just the fact that she beat her, I believe, in competition. And she's that good, man, with her judo. So I believe Kayla Harrison will roll there. And the main event of the night is the old school veteran of MMA, Fabricio Werdum, 24-9-1, coming out of Brazil, fighting Renan Ferreira, who's 6-2, also coming out of Brazil. Oh man, it's hard to go. I have a rule. You can't go against the OG. The only problem with this OG is he's 43 years old, folks. He's 6'4", and he's 77-inch reach. He's coming off a win. Yes, he is, versus Alexander Gustafsson in round 1 and his last UFC performance on his contract. Very smart of him to run fast after he won that, because if he didn't, he was not going to probably get the money he got over here in the PFL. So shout out to him for cashing or getting that money for his family. But I just think that Fabricio Werdum is just way too good, man. His jiu-jitsu is just sick. I'm not saying he's going to be able to outstrike Renan, but I believe his jiu-jitsu is just far superior, and that Renan's going to be absolutely fucked. Renan Ferreira is 6-2. He's a big boy, though, so don't get me wrong. 31 years old, 6'8", folks. 85-inch reach, so he's going to have some mean old monkey hands just coming out to fool. Affiliation, he's coming out of Team Nogueira, obviously the Nogueira brothers, so shout out to the infamous Nogueira brothers of MMA. So this dude's training with some decent coaches. I don't know about the talent that he's training with there, but he's definitely got the right coaches that are backing him. His last fight, he won versus a triangle choke, round 2. The one before that, he lost illegal punches to the back of the head that he threw So you can't really, take anything there. But it was TKO before that. It was punches before that. And it was KO win before that. So this dude he can win this fight if he keeps this standing. He seems to be very, like I said, he's very big. Heavyweight fights, I don't like heavyweight fights often. I don't bet them because it's one punch to the back of the head, and you just whole night is just absolutely ended, and you're just screwed. So I think that Renan definitely has a chance here because of the size and standing, and it's heavyweights. But if Verdum gets us on the ground, he's screwed. So I'm going to go with Verdum because he's just the OG. Renan, I believe, has tapped before. Let me get that. Yeah, he's lost the armbar before. So once a tapper, always a tapper to me. If you lost to a guy, Vincentus Morea, who's actually really good at jiu-jitsu, it's so about as high level as Verdum. I'm going to go Verdum by armbar or some kind of rear naked choke, some kind of submission. So that'll be the main event at night for the PFL 3. I just wanted to give you guys a little bonus and go over those two. So make sure you go give them some love because the more MMA, the merrier. Shout out to the 104 you guys live viewing us. We appreciate you a ton. And yeah, Aaron Whitebomb, the Bellator has a great show. Juan is the real deal. I'm going to be going over that shortly. So what up, Sean Miller, my boy from childhood, since we were 5 years old, the Miller twins, some of the best wrestlers out of Simi High School, trained with Judo Gene LaBelle back in the day. So shout out to Sean Miller. Give him some love in the chat. He's on Facebook. So one of the first dudes that support on Facebook. So love you, Sean. Appreciate you. Hope you and your lady are good. And we got my other boy, JJ, Mr. Goodbar. What's up, dude? Appreciate you coming in the chat. Like I said, we just finished going over the PFL number 3, and now I'm going to go over another bonus. We're going to go over Bellator 258. I'm going to be going over just the main card, so we could spare you the agony of the whole card and just give you, what I think is going to be exciting. So the first fight of the night that we have for the main event, the main card, is Michael Venom Page. 18-1 is going to be fighting Derek Anderson. And if you don't know about Michael Venom Page, I mean, he's infamous for caving in Chris Cyborg, the male's head and skull, basically into the canvas. He's literally just died, or smoked this dude and concaved his whole head with a flying knee that's famous. MVP striking, super diverse, but he's one of those dudes who just like goofs off and he showcases a lot. He's coming off a four fight win streak. He's 34 years old. 6'3", 77-inch reach, so he's just long, lanky, just super athletic. His last fight, he won by decision. The fight before that, he won round 2 with a counter cross. He just super sharp striking. Then the one before that, same counter right, round 1. So this guy's a finisher, man. The only last time that he's lost was Douglas Lima. And Douglas Lima I'm super high on. He's an absolute monster. I knew that Douglas Lima was going to win that fight. So that's his last loss, was a 2019 MVP's was. So I think MVP is just absolutely going to dominate. And this is a fight where he's fighting Derek Anderson, who's 17-3, 31 years old, 6 foot, 74-inch reach. He's coming off 3 wins himself. His last fight, he won a head kick round 2 versus Achilles Moda, who's 12-1. So had some really good experience. So then he won before that. He won a decision, and a fight before he won that, he won a decision, and then he lost a decision versus Derek Campos. So it seemed like when he faced his toughest challenge, Derek Anderson, he folded versus Derek Campos in a decision. And I believe that Michael Venom Page is the real deal when it comes to striking, and that he is going to take out Derek Anderson here and showcase why his striking is so superior. And with Derek Anderson coming off of a head kick win, these guys get money hungry, or they get bonus hunter hungry, and they start chasing these KO TKOs. Well, if he does that, he's going to fall right in the hands of Michael Venom Page's counter striking and striking abilities. So make sure you watch the UFC on this one because it is going to be a great fight. I'm going to be going with Michael Venom Page by devastation. You have any thoughts on that one, T, or you want me to roll through it?
Nah, you can roll through, man.
Okay, no worries. Then we got Patricky Pitbull, one of the infamous Pitbull brothers, man. He's going to be He's 23-9, fighting Peter Corley, I believe, coming out of Ireland. Patricky Pitbull, 23-9. He's coming off a loss, though. He's 35 years old, 5'7", 71-inch reach. His last fight, he lost unanimous decision versus a very tough Tofik Muska, in Risen 20. So you can't really hate on them too much. There's two Pitbull brothers, and this is the lesser one in my opinion, but I don't want to be disrespectful because both these guys will smoke me with one hand, one left hook across my chin. So not to be disrespectful, but we talk about how there's a lesser of the two brothers. We felt that way with the Diaz brothers. We felt that way with a lot of fighters that come up into the UFC with their siblings. So with his last fight was a loss versus Tofik for Patricky. And then he won with punches and soccer kicks in round 1 and risen, and then punches round 2 or round 1 again versus Kawajiri, which is another good fighter, decent at that. So, the soccer kicks aren't going to be happening for Patricky, but this dude's mean, man. He's going to be fighting Peter Corley. Peter Corley is 12-5-1. He's 32 years old. He's 5'9" with a 74.5-inch reach. He's fighting out of Dublin, Ireland. Like I said, I guessed pretty much. I saw the flag. SBG Ireland is, where Conor McGregor trains. He's got his coach there, and Conor McGregor's coach. And so he probably has some decent striking. And so last fight he won versus Ryan Scope, punches round 2. The guy was 10-2 that he beat. So, pretty decent in that sense. The one before that, he lost a split decision versus a guy named Miles Price in Bellator 217. The guy was 10-7. And then the one before that, he won punches round 1, to David Kacharian. So I don't know what to take of that, but I'm going to be going with Patricky Pitbull because of the high class training that he does and his jiu-jitsu and everything. I'm going to have to go with the Pitbull brother. And but don't go and like bet your whole house on that one. I just giving you guys what I think is going to happen. Then finally, Bellator has something fun for they've been getting better, but this is Anthony Rumble Johnson is finally back. 205 pounds, baby. He's going to be looking mean and lean, and he's going to be coming there to do what Anthony Rumble Johnson does, and that's finish or be finished. He's 22-6. He's 37 years old, coming off a loss, though. 6'2", 78-inch reach. He's coming off a grappling, not the grappling. He's been grappling a lot, so that's good to see that he's at least practicing. But he's coming off a round 1 loss to Glover Teixeira, but that's in 2016, folks. He has been – I skipped Daniel Cormier in 2017. He's coming off of a rear naked choke. That's the last time he's really fought in the UFC or Bellator was versus Daniel Cormier. So you can't really hate on him for getting pummeled by Daniel Cormier because he's a monster. But it's crazy how Anthony Rumble Johnson folds to these upper echelon opponents, but he's crazy, man. He's got crazy hands. He's really powerful. He's going to be fighting a guy, Jose Avesito, who's 7-2, coming off 5 wins himself. He's 29 years old, so he's going to have just going to be a lot younger, and he's going to have that on his side. He's much more active. He's 6'3", 73-inch reach. He's coming off a triangle choke round 1. He's coming off punches round 1. He's coming off a anaconda choke round 1. 3 wins in a row. They're not competition like Anthony Rumble Johnson, but Anthony Rumble Johnson's Achilles heel is literally giving up a submission or just literally turtling when he gets faced with some kind of adversity. So I would not be betting this fight. There's no fucking way. Not versus a guy that could possibly finish Anthony Johnson if he gets him on the ground. If he's throwing up submissions like arm triangle chokes and anaconda chokes and he's winning by punches, he's not. I mean, the record and the experience goes to Rumble Johnson all day. Yes, Rumble Johnson should win. I don't ever trust Rumble Johnson anymore, but I'm stoked to see what he does here. And I think that this is just one of those fights you sit back and watch. I'm going to go with Rumble Johnson because it's a vet versus a newcomer, but don't get twisted. If he ends up getting subbed by Jose, you're going to see a lot of people lose their money because they're going to end up just throwing a ton of money on Rumble without even knowing his opponent. And so that could end up costing you money, and that's why we don't fire on Bellator very often. But if there was a bet that I was going to fire on, it would be this fight, the main event of the evening. Juan Archuleta, 25-2. Going up against Sergio Pettis, 20-5. Juan Archuleta is literally he comes out of a really cool camp with TJ Dillashaw, Cub Swanson, and it's just an elite group of guys that just push each other to the limit. He's 33 years old. He's 5'7", 69-inch reach. Juan Archuleta is. He's coming off 2 wins. His last win was a unanimous decision versus Patricky Mix, who's 13-0, and then Henry Corrales, who's 17-4. So I'm a big fan of Juan Archuleta. I like his wrestling and work ethic. I also like his boxing. I just think that he's really good. Last time he's lost was versus Patricio Pitbull, my favorite Pitbull brother. He lost a unanimous decision, and he learned a lot that night in 2019. I think this is all day Juan Archuleta's fight to win. He's fighting, like I said, Sergio Pettis, to me, it's the lesser of the two brothers. And Juan is going to absolutely, Aaron, Juan is going to murder the man. Sergio is going to be literally hit. He's not going to know what to do. He's going to shoot for a takedown. Juan Archuleta is going to stuff his takedown because his takedown defense is that good. And he's just going to keep on just dishing out just blows. I believe that Juan Archuleta possibly is going to get a TKO KO win, or he's going to big brother bullies Sergio Pettis all around this ring. I'm not trying to hate too much on Sergio, but I'm a big fan of Juan Archuleta. I think that he's got a higher ceiling, and he's also just got the edge. Just in wrestling, to me, he's got the edge then in jiu-jitsu, because wrestling, trumps jiu-jitsu in ways when it comes to the wrestling transition spots. So it's in control. So I'm going to go with Sergio Pettis loses the Juan Archuleta, possible TKO KO and or decision win by Juan Archuleta, but it's going to be dominant in my eyes. And so you can go get Juan Archuleta at a decent price too. So Aaron Weinbaum, good point. Sergio should be at 125 pounds. And yep, Juan trains with TJ Dillashaw, like I said, folks. So he's got some really good experience on the side. I want to say shout out to my boys, my other boy, Devin Beers, one of my best friends, Ranger. Been friends with him since 13 years old. So thanks for being in the chat, Dev, Ranger. Appreciate you being here. Shout out to the 126 of you live here watching us from all platforms. Appreciate you guys all, and can't do this without you. So that was the main event of the evening for Bellator, and I just wanted to make sure that I gave you guys a little bit of love there, give you my opinion on that. So if you guys wanted to parlay stuff, or if you wanted to do some DraftKings, whatever you may do. I've also been big into this Verdict MMA. I don't know if you guys have jumped into it. Verdict MMA, it's like a scoring system type app that they use now, like I believe it's PFL specifically. And it's really cool because it kind of gives the fans like not a say in the fight, but it kind of, you basically, events come for the MMA event, and you pick, they have 5 fights per se. You pick all 5 fights, how they're going to finish round 1, round 2, round 3, or knockout, submission, or decision. And you get awarded points on it. And then if you do good and call the fights correctly, you get awarded like a jiu-jitsu belt. So you start as a white belt, and then you get awarded stripes, and then you get to a blue belt, and brown belt, and so purple belt, then brown belt, then black belt. So super cool. So join Verdict MMA. It's an app you can join. It's free. It's just super cool. Gets you recognition as a fan, and you can just be part of the PFL scoring system a little bit. And so I've been doing that a lot lately. I'm just about to be. I just started like a few weeks ago, so I'm only a white belt, but almost to be a blue belt in the Verdict MMA. So go download that. It's a lot of fun. But with that said, that's the end of the Bellator 258. So we're going to jump into the real reason why we're here, and that is, let's see. Sorry, folks, messing up. I can't believe that I'm going to say this in the main event, but it's UFC Fight Night Rodriguez versus Waterson, man. It's UFC Vegas 26. I don't know how this is the main event. We're getting robbed. The UFC is just making out with bank here by keeping this as the main event. I literally. It is what it is, man. It just sucks, like what they're doing. Like Cowboy could have been the main event, man. I mean, but I guess
I agree. I think they should have did this the wrong one, but it's all good.
So thank you for tuning in, Aaron. Tune in anytime, bro. Appreciate your support. Yeah, I don't get it, but it is what it is. And so without too much griping, the first fight of the night, we have Christian Aguilera, who's 14-7, fighting Carlston Harris. They actually switched up the order on us, but so I'm going to go with it now. That's on Tapology and switched up a little bit. But Christian Aguilera is fighting Carlston Harris, and this will be my first bet of the night. It was supposed to be a little bit deeper in the card on Tapology before, but I don't know. They switched it up, and now it is what it is. So Carlston Harris, I like this guy a lot, man. I think that he is just super mean. Let me get to the notes since they switched it up. Let's see. Sorry, folks. Dude, I don't know when they switched it up like that, but it is what it is. So yeah, Carlson Harris. This
Yeah.
dude is mean. He's got really, really good kicks, super powerful standing. He's a purple belt in BJJ, so he's working on his ground game always. He's going off against Christian Aguilera. Christian Aguilera is the type of dude that he's got everything that I like to bet against. He is a tapper. He is a quitter, and I love betting me against some tappers and some quitters like we did last week, or when we did versus Roberson, when we cashed on that, and then how we cashed last week, just in general. So I love people who quit, and Christian Aguilera is the guy that just reminds me of does that. He's 29 years old, coming off a loss. He's 5'9", 72-inch reach. He last lost versus Sean Brady, who's a great fighter, so I can't really hate him on that, but he tapped by guillotine choke in round 2. He's a tapper. Then before that, he won the fight, right? He won round 1. Then he won a decision, and then he won a round 1 TKO KO versus a guy that's 31-17-2 in Celtic Gladiator 25. I don't even, honestly, I've been watching MMA a long time. I don't even know what the fuck Gladiator 25 is. So shows you the type of dudes he beats. Then he lost to David Machado when he fought adversity. Lost round 1 punches. Lost decision. I mean, he's lost TKO again. This guy's a loser. So what am I getting at? I'm going to be betting on Carlson Harris. I think this dude is mean, dude. He's 15-4, 33 years old, coming off 3 wins, 6 foot tall. He's going to be longer in the reach. His last fight, he won by Darce choke round 2. He won on punches round 2 before that. Won TKO KO before that. So this guy is a finisher, man. And I just really think this is a setup fight for him to win. So I'm going to be laying down the money on Carlton Harris, negative 152. So 1.52 units on Harris to beat Aguilera and just show you that he's a quitter. Whether he taps to submission or he taps to strikes, he's going to be tapping. So tap-a-roo. What do you think he's going to do, T?
Yeah, I mean, Harris is an up-and-comer. Aguilera's completely unimpressive to me. He's got a lot of experience, but, I couldn't find a ton of info on Harris. I watched some of his fights. But from the small bit I've seen, I'm willing to take a chance here too and go with him to get a W. Aguilera, I mean, he's done nothing to make me think he can beat him, So I'm right with you with the bet, and I'm gonna be pushing my chips in with everybody else. Hopefully, get another dub on this one. I think he's gonna get him pretty easy, to be honest. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. So. Then I remember we wrote this yesterday, so we were supposed to do the show yesterday, so our order is just going to be messed up on our notes, so I'm just going to roll with it. Mike Trisano is going to be fighting Ludwig Klein. Trisano is at the time of writing this was plus 205, and Ludwig Klein was negative 245. That's it. Mike Trisano lost his last fight to, let's see, 1 second. I believe it was Grant Dawson. Lost via RNC, rear naked choke to Grant Dawson, who's 13-1. Grant Dawson has been a pretty good prospect in the sense, so you can't really hate on him that much. But then he lost. Then he won his fight before that to Luis Pena, who's been kind of hit or miss before, in the sense. And then he won versus Joe Gennady in the Ultimate Fighter finale. But then he, like I said, so it's like Trisano's good, dude. I think that his jiu-jitsu game is underrated, and I think that he's being a little bit overlooked. But, I mean, Ludwig Klein, I'm a big fan of, man. He's coming 17-2. He's 26 years old. He's 5'7", 72-inch reach. He's coming off 8 wins in a row, man. He's coming off a head kick and punches round 1 for Shane Young, and he just absolutely demolished a mean Shane Young who comes to scrap every time. The fight before that, he won head kick and punches again, round 1. Before that, head kick punches, or head kick. Before that, punches. This guy's a finisher, man. So I like Ludwig Klein. I think I see why they have him as a favorite. I'm going to be going with Ludwig Klein here to win the fight, but don't get it twisted. Trisano could win this fight and easily do a possible submission or end up doing a decision victory. What do you think about this one, T?
Yeah, Trisano hasn't fought in a couple years. I think 2019 was his last fight. He tapped versus Grant Dawson, I think. Klein finished his last 3 or 4 fights, so I'm guessing that's why the line is what it is, but I think the line's off. I agree with you. I think Klein's going to win the fight, but I don't want to pay that price. I think Trisano could, surprise too with that money, so I'll probably just stay away and maybe look at it live. If they throw something out on Trisano stupid, I might take that live or something like that,
Yeah. Well, nice. So yeah, like I said, I'm going with Klein, but I think that Trisano has a path. So I thought about betting it, but I think it's bait here. I think the negative 245 was a little high versus a guy that does have some talent on the ground. So, but because he's lost to Dawson by tapping, I can't bet on tappers, man. I know that sounds mean, but I can't do it. So Ludwig Klein is my pick there.
Yep. Well, next up on the card, we got Tafon Chuckwee versus Jun Young Park. Tafon, he's doesn't have a ton of experience, but he's a serious up and comer here. Let me throw the clip on. He's a serious up and comer. I really, really like him in this fight. I think he's gonna beat Young here, and I think the line's too low. And I think it's just low due to Park's experience. So I'm definitely gonna be betting Tafon, and we kind of fought back and forth to whether we should make Tafon the show bet or Harris, but we went with Harris. Because Aguilera we thought was worse off than Park, but I really like Tafon here, and I'll definitely be betting him. What you think, man?
Yeah, this one is I think Tafon, man, he's super talented. I know that his record is 5-0 only. He's going off against Jun Young Park, who's 12-4, who's got just a lot more experience. But Tafon, like I said, he's 26 years old, 8 wins in a row, 6-0. 77-inch reach, and he's fighting out of a team Lloyd Irvin. So he's definitely got some experience to work with over there. He, his last fight, he won a unanimous decision versus a guy who was 11-4. The fight before that, it was head kick round 2, and then round 1 KO TKO before that. So this guy's just literally a finisher. He's been on a finish streak until last fight. He did a decision versus Jamie Pickett on the UFC Fight Night. You can kind of say that UFC jitters kind of gets to you. But he's going to be facing Jun Young Park. Jun Young Park is no pushover. He's 12-4, 30 years old, 5'10", 73-inch reach. He's on a 2-fight win streak. He last fought a guy, John Phillips, who he won a unanimous decision, and then Marc-Andre Barriault, who was 11-3, and he won a unanimous decision on that one. Then he lost to Anthony Hernandez anaconda choke in round 2. So he's a tapper, and so not only can you not trust him on the ground, then I think that Tafon is just much more experienced. He's bigger. He's going to be just more athletic. I think that this is a spot where Tafon rolls here, and I think that Tafon with that little bit record and less experience still gets the win with the athleticism. So I'm going to be going with Tafon to upset Park. So let's see.
I could take the next one, man. The next fight we got up is Maurice Green versus Rogério de Lima. Green struggled recently. He's lost to Hardy his last fight. He's beat a lot of people that's no longer even in the league, in the UFC. Lima, he got choked out by Romanov his last fight with that big forearm when he pushed his head into the mat and just knocked his lights out. So De Lima hasn't been too impressive to me either. So with the dog money, I'd probably go with Green at plus 165. I think he's got a good chance here. So, what you think, man?
Dude, this fight is literally the battle of the shitties, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but dude, Maurice Green and Rogério de Lima, you couldn't ask for two big bodies that just literally can't do nothing for nobody. I just Maurice Green's a plus 165 underdog at the time of writing this versus de Lima, and it was negative 190. I mean, like I said, this is gross, dude. This should not. I don't even think de Lima should be the favorite here. Like I said, last time he lost to Romanov, who we were super high on and called him to win versus de Lima. So you can't really hate on de Lima for losing to Romanov because King Kong Romanov is an absolute monster. So we're big King Kong Romanov fans. So Regima lost to him last, and then Maurice Green too. He's just they both just lost a shit ton, bro. Like it's crazy. Let me get this up real fast. Why is it? Maurice Green. No, Maurice Green's 9-5, right? Look at that record. 9-5, 34 years old, 6'7", 82-inch reach. Coming off a loss, like I said, to Greg Hardy, who got lost to a power jab and ground and pound in round 2. To Greg Hardy, who's just athletic. He's not even good. Athletic and strong. He won versus Gian Vellante before that with a modified choke from bottom in round 3. But, dude, Gian Vellante, 17-11, he's not that good either. Then he lost to Olenek by armbar, lost the punches by Sergey. Oh man, Maurice Green, he's a tapper, he's a quitter too. But dude, you got Marcus Rogero de Lima, who's 17-7, 35 years old too, so 2 years younger at least, 6'1", 75-inch reach. Coming off a loss, like I said, at least he trains out of American Top Team in Florida, where they have a great camp and great coaches with Mike Brown and the likes. But he lost literally to forearm choke by my boy King Kong. He literally put his forearm so deep into the dude's throat against the canvas that he choked that dude and put his ass to sleep, dude. It was crazy. So I can't be betting on a dude like that at the line. I mean, it makes no sense at negative 190 to be betting a coin toss. Not happening. I'm going to go with Maurice Green at the dog money when it's a coin toss at heavyweights. I'm going with the dog money, especially at plus 165. I will not bet this fight. Do not bet this fight. But if you were going to, it's dog or pass. What do you say, T?
Yeah, like I said, dog money for sure.
Yeah.
Green on this one.
So next up on the card is our second and last bet of the night is Ryan Benoit, who was negative 145 at the time of writing this, versus Zukra Adashev, who's plus 125. Adashev, he's 3-3, guys. 3-3. I can't believe that this guy's in the UFC. Never in my life did I imagine that a guy would be 3-3 and we'd be talking about him on a professional podcast or a UFC show in fucking general. Bellator doesn't even barely do this shit, dude. It's crazy. But, I mean, it is what it is. Dude's 3-3. He's 28 years old. He's 5'5", 65-inch reach. He's coming off of 2 losses. He lost to Sumajiri, 3-round decision. He lost to Tyson Nam, counter right hook, round 1. Then before that, he won a fight in Bellator with left hook, right hook and punches, round 2. That guy was 3-1, folks. 3-1. So, he's that guy he fought and beat wasn't good. The guy then before that he won the unanimous decision. The guy's 0-2. Yeah, you beat a guy's 0-2. He's fucking 0-2. He sucks dick. He should not be fucking fighting, dude. That guy should quit. Fuck. I can't believe that we're talking about this guy. Then he lost to rear naked choke. So this dude's lost by counter right hand. He's lost by rear naked choke. Well, I there's no way I'm going to bet on that guy, right? So that's why we're firing on Ryan Benoit, the veteran, the OG here, 10-7. He's 31 years old, 5'5", with a 68.5-inch reach. He's coming off of 2 losses, but those losses are versus actual competitors. Tim Elliott, with his back up against the wall, with his transition and submission ability and just all around just madness, ended up edging the decision for Tim Elliott in his last loss for Benoit. Then he lost a split decision versus Helia Tang, who's actually pretty talented. So then he won his last fight for a head kick round 3 versus Ashtan Mkhitaryan. Ashtan is not very good either. So the point is, on this fight, Ryan Benoit is the OG, man. He has way more experience. He's training down with Gordon Ryan and his coach down there. I'm totally blanking right now. Gordon Ryan and Gary Tonin, and working his leg lock game. So that's kind of Achilles heel for Ryan Benoit, is his jiu-jitsu game. The fact that he doesn't have enough to rely on down there. So I think that he's going to pull off this bet here, and it's going to be my second bet of the show. I'm going to be firing 1.45 units on Ryan Benoit to just showcase the superior skills and the all-around MMA talent. What do you think about this one, T?
Yeah, as soon as I looked at the card, I liked Tafon and Benoit. I really like Benoit here. I mean, he's got way more experience than Zaruk, and it just seems like a no-brainer to go in Benoit. And I don't understand why it's minus 145. It's the only thing kind of scaring me off. I thought he'd be minus 170 or something like in this fight, 175. So that's kind of fishy, but we're going to go with it. Minus 145, you're going to give it to us. Let's go with it and make it a bet, man. I'm with you. I think Benoit wins this one pretty easy and impressively.
With that said, we'll jump into the main card of the evening. It's going to be the first fight of night. We have, at the time of writing this, was Phil Hawes, was plus 120, fighting Kyle Dawkins. We are big fans of the Dawkins brothers. We call them the Docklings. Sometimes we joke around and call one the ugly Dockling. I think that this is a spot where the Kyle Dawkins is just the all-around better. He's 10-1. He's 28, 6'3", 76-inch reach. He's coming off a win versus Dustin Stoltzfus, he won a decision. And then the fight before that, he lost versus Brendan Allen, who we cashed on the show last couple fights ago by submission and money line. So you can't really hate on him for losing a decision versus a savage like Brendan Allen when we've been high on him. I really like Kyle Dawkins here. I think that he's going to be just too much for Phil Haas. He's going to be a little bit bigger. And with that said, the only thing that Phil Haas is going to have is possible power in the first round that we're going to have to fend off. So I really like Dawkins here. I think that he's going to win. Phil Haas is 32 years old, 6 foot, 77-inch reach, coming off 6 wins. His last fight was for Nasruddin Imamov. He won a majority decision. Then the fight before that, the guy was only 4-0, and he won by punches. So then before that, he was on a contender series, and he beat a guy ground and pound. It was 10-3. So not enough experience for me to bet on him. So I'd be going with Kyle Dawkins on this one. What do you say, T?
Yeah, I mean, Haas took the fight on short notice here. He has a fight scheduled in July too, and Dawkins, he's got the height and reach advantage on him too. Haas, he's got a ton of power, so you can't overlook him. Or if you do, you're gonna get hurt. But I mean, I think Kyle can outsmart him here, give Haas a lot of trouble, get out of that first round, and just keep game planning him and get the W. I agree with you, man. Let's see. Next up on the card, we have Diego Ferreira versus Gregor Gillespie. Diego's fought better opponents than Gillespie. Gillespie, he's overpriced in this fight at -175. He's got a route to victory with takedowns, but I like Diego in his jiu-jitsu. He could get a sneaky dub here at +155. I just don't like Gillespie -175. So what you think about this one, bro?
Well, this is actually be a really good fight. I thought about making it the bet for us for the MMA for Money show. I was gonna pick Diego Ferreira. I just like his black belt jiu-jitsu game. He's just been in there with all around better competition. He's 17-3, fighting out of Brazil. He's 5'9", 74-inch reach, 36 though. Coming off a loss versus Beneil Dariush, who you can't even hate on a split decision loss versus Beneil. He didn't get finished, he didn't get subbed, and Beneil's just on a roll and an absolute savage. Before that, he won by rear naked choke, beat Anthony Pettis. He beat Maribek Tusumov by decision. He beat Rustam Kublov, who's an absolute monster, by decision. I mean, this dude is absolutely game. I want to bet him, but the only thing I don't like is that Gregor Gillespie's wrestling game is that good in the sense of that Diego Ferreira gives up takedowns. And so if you're giving up takedowns versus a really good wrestler, it's going to be a problem. Gregor Gillespie's 34 years old. He's 5'7", 71-inch reach. He's coming off a loss that went viral. He lost by devastation. He lost an overhand right to a kick by Kevin Lee that just sent him into orbit, and you could see his soul fly back into the cage. It was crazy, bro. Like, do yourself a favor and go just Google Kevin Lee versus Gregor Gillespie. I think Gregor Gillespie's soul is still left on the canvas or against the cage that he hit that night. That's another reason why I wanted to fire. It was because he's just, just lost last time, by devastation. He has taken a lot of time off. It was 2019 when he fought last. He was supposed to fight in March of this year, but it got canceled. But he was going to fight Brad Riddell in a fight that I would have loved to have bet Brad Riddell. He's got great striking and good takedown defense, but we didn't get that fight. So I think that if Diego can stuff the takedowns, he's going to win this fight, in my opinion. But the wrestling of Gillespie is that real. I'm going to be going with Diego Ferreira, though, because I said I was going to back him. I think he's got the better jiu-jitsu game. He could possibly get a sub, but like I said, I pulled the bet because I don't want to bet something that's iffy. This is one of those ones. So I think that Diego Ferreira is going to win, but like I said, don't mark my words on that one, folks. It's not a bet. So, it should be a good one, though. The next up on the card, we have Neil Magne, who's at the time of writing this was +165, going first Jeff Neal, who's -190. Man, what do you say? Neil Magne, 24-8. He's 33 years old, 6'3", super long and agile and reach. 80 years old, got good work ethic. He's got a one-fight losing streak. He fought Michael Chiesa, where he got absolutely schooled and just outclassed, and he just showed you that he hasn't learned much about his wrestling. His Achilles heel seems to be wrestling. Before that, he won versus Robbie Lawler somehow, and then versus Anthony Rocco Martin, who was pretty decent at the time. So, man, I don't know, man. I can never be too sure on a Neil Magny in general what you're going to get. But I like Jeff Neal. He's 13-3. He's 30 years old. They call him Hands of Steel is his nickname. He's coming off a loss where he fought Stephen Wonder Boy Thompson, who, bro, was one of the best strikers there is. And you gotta lose those type of fights. As you come up to the upper echelon of the sport. I think that Neil Magny learned enough on that fight where he's going to come in here and he's going to be able to just absolutely just showcase the skills against Neil Magny and just hopefully land a power right hand or just dominate him, even possibly on the ground. But the Neil Magny does have more experience. He is a little bit longer, so he could possibly do something sneaky with a submission. But I'm going with the Fortis MMA stud, Jeff Neal. I think that he gets this one done. What do you think about this one, T?
Yeah, Jeff Neal, he's been finishing his opponents and he's looked better recently in the octagon than Magne has. I guess that's why the line's minus 190. Magne, he's sneaky at plus 165. I almost want to take him. But I personally think Neal and his power is going to prevail in this one. I'm definitely not overlooking Magne, though. And so I'm probably just going to end up watching this one. But I do think Neal will end up getting him and either winning the decision or maybe knocking him out. But like I said, Magne's tough, man. But next up on the card, we've got Amanda Rebus versus Angela Hill. This was an interesting one when we looked at it. Rebus, she's got a slight reach advantage. And, anytime Angela Hill steps up in competition, it just seems like the fight ends up going to a decision and she ends up losing the decision. So it's probably going to end up being that story here where it just goes to a decision. It's a close fight. It seems like Angela Hill probably won it, and they give it to Rebus. If I had to bet it, I'd probably take the plus money with Hill, but I'm probably just going to stay away from this one and watch. What you think, dude?
Yeah, this fight's going to be good. Amanda Rebus, who's negative 175 on the money line at the time of writing this, versus Angela Hill, who's plus 155. I mean, Angela Hill has been in here and been in the game with every single one of the top competitor women's fighters. She's 36 years old, 5'3", 64.5-inch reach. She's coming off a win where she just absolutely just outskilled Ashley Yoder in a unanimous decision win. Before that, she lost a split decision to Michelle Waterson, who's showcasing her skills at the main card. So I don't, she lost to Michelle. She lost to Claudia Gadelha, split decision. So she's losing to good quality fighters. Then she, unanimous decision versus Loma Lookboom, who just showcased her skills last week, who's just really good. I don't get how Angela Hill is the underdog here. Amanda Rebus is 10-2. She's 27 years old. Yes, she's younger. One loss, 5'3". She's coming off one loss. She's coming off of 5'3", 66-inch reach. Her last fight, she got smoked by Marina Rodriguez in round 2. By punches, where she was heavily favored. Before that, she beat Paige Benzan armbar round 1. Cool. Then she beat Randa Marcos, who basically lost by DQ last weekend. Cool. Then she beat Mackenzie Dern, who doesn't have enough skill yet. So Amanda Rebus has just not shown me enough. No way to bet her. I really like Angela Hill here. I think Angela Hill is going to show as just 3-round decision all day. Probably her by decision is the best bet here, especially if she's at dog money already. I don't know what the exact odds on her at the by decision, but if it's plus 155 for her just in general, then I would think that they would have to be like plus 300 or close to for decision. But knowing them, they probably are smart, knowing it's going to be like negative or plus 200 at best. So Angela Hill by decision is where I'm going to go because the veteran versus the newcomer. I'm going with Angela Hill all day. So next up on the card, we have Ben Rothwell, as I call him, who's negative 115 versus Felipe Lins, who's negative 105. Oh man, I don't like Ben Rothwell. I personally he stands flat-footed. He zombie walks forward for his striking. He's very vulnerable to be hit. He's cheated before in the sense of he's not passed drug tests. He's peaked a long time ago. There's no way I would ever pick him. So I like Felipe Lins here. 14-5. He's coming out of Brazil. He's coming off 2 losses though. He's 35 years old, 6'2", 78-inch reach. His last fight, he lost round 1 for punches Tanner Bozer. And then Andrei Arlovsky went to decision before that, and then he won with knees to the clinch versus Josh Copeland in PFL before that. So 3 fights ago, he won 2 losses in a row. But Ben Rothwell, like I said, is just not the same guy, man. I just don't see why I would bet on him. Yes, he probably has the advantage on the ground, maybe, but I don't care, man. I'm not betting Ben Rothwell. I would bet Felipe Lins in this one at the negative 105. I think at a coin toss, I would go Felipe Lins because he's just got more of an upside to me. But this is another battle of the shitties, so don't be going to bet this one. What do you think about it, T?
Yeah, I mean, Ben, he's got the height and reach advantage. I mean, he's one of them dudes, though, you never know what you're going to get when he steps in the octagon. I guess the dude, he just doesn't give a fuck. It's like you said, he just, he fails drug tests, all that bullshit. He just don't care. And sometimes you can see it in the octagon. He just doesn't give a shit. And so, I mean, it's definitely a pick 'em bet. I keep flopping back and forth because I don't agree with you. I think Ben Rothwell may be done. So I think Lynn will get it. But honestly, Rothwell slugging him out and winning a sloppy decision isn't going to surprise me whatsoever. So I'm probably not going to bet on this fight, and I'm just going to watch it and just see what these big boys do.
Yep. So, well, the next fight's going to be my main event of the night. Is the co-main event is Donald Cowboy Cerrone, 36-15, going up against Alex Morono, who is 18-7. We'll get into Alex Morono first. Alex Morono, like I said, 18-7, 30 years old, so he's younger. 5'11", 72-inch reach. He's coming off a loss. Last loss versus Anthony Pettis in a unanimous decision, where he looked good at first and then he gassed. And so you can't do that in this upper echelon of the sport. Then before that, he won a fight versus Rice McKee, unanimous decision. Then he lost round 1 versus Chaos Williams, who ended up being an absolute monster with those heavy hands for a couple fights. I think that Donald Cowboy Cerrone is literally this. I would have liked to have bet him versus Diego because I thought that was a good parting gift for us. We could have watched Diego Sanchez get slayed because the way that Diego's going right now, his mental game is just out there, bro. Between him crying and his life partner and love mate.
You didn't see him crying today to Dana about crying, saying,
dude.
Dana won't talk to me, bro. Dana won't talk to me.
I wouldn't talk to you either because, dude, your life partner and coach or whatever he is basically ruined everything for you for your last fight and for us fans. So Donald Cerrone is going to be going up against Alex Morono. I think Donald Cerrone is just a vet. He's got just underrated jiu-jitsu, black belt and BJJ, can absolutely handle Alex Morono everywhere on the ground, in my opinion. And then on the feet, I just believe Donald Cerrone has more cardio, has just more heart. I think Donald Cerrone is the play here. Close to making it a bet. It's negative 130 for him. So, it's 1.3 units to make 100. I think that's a great number on him because the OG Donald Cerrone, I think, schools the newcomer here and just devastates him. What do you think about this fight, T?
Morono, he lost to Pettis' last fight. I haven't seen anything impressive from him lately. But you got Cerrone, and Cerrone, he hasn't won a fight in a long time. I mean, I think it was 2019 is the last time Cerrone won a fight, but he actually beat Dos Anjos in a grappling match in December, though. So, that's good. But with that said, he's lost the top competition. He's fought the best of the best, so you can't really knock him. So Cerrone, he's got the experience edge, and to me, it's just a question: is Cerrone done? And I mean, if you think he's got anything left in the tank, I mean, you got to take him here. And I think he'll be motivated and he'll edge out Morono here and get the W. And I mean, if he doesn't get it done, his career is probably over. He might get one more fight after this, but I mean, how many L's he's going to take in a row? Especially that the Conor one too, when he got hit with the shoulder and all that. So that's how I feel about it. I'd go Cerrone here. But last we got the main event. And like I said, I was disappointed in the main event. I thought it'd be Cerrone and Morono, but it is what it is. We got Marina Rodriguez versus Michelle Waterson. I think Marina's gonna win this fight on her road to getting destroyed by Valentina if she ends up fighting her. That's not even going to be much of a fight. Valentina's just going to kill her. And it's kind of the same thing I see with Waterson as Hill. And anytime she steps up in competition, she ends up choking or losing a real close decision. So I think Marina Rodriguez is gonna win this, and it's most likely gonna be by decision. What you think, man?
Yeah, this is going to be a really good fight. We got Marina Rodriguez at the time of writing this was a negative 215 favorite versus Michelle Waterson, who was plus 170. Michelle Waterson is an absolute veteran of the game. Trains at Jackson and Wink MMA. She's coming off a win. She's 18-8. She's 35 years old and sexy as fucking could be. 5'3", 62 years old. She's coming off a win versus Angela Hill, who, is a great veteran, has really good striking. So she won a split decision versus Hill, then lost to Carla Esparza, split decision, and then lost to Joanna by decision. But she's won versus KK. She's won versus Felice Herrig. She's won versus Courtney Casey. She's been around the game for a long time, man. Marina Rodriguez, though, is 13-1-2. She's just destroyed her opponent in the last fight we talked about. 34 years old, 5'6", 65-inch reach. She won by domination in round 2 punches when she smashed Amanda Rebus, who was the favorite, into the ground. This is a spot too. On the feet, I think that Marina Rodriguez has the advantage all day. And I think that she could win. But man, Michelle Waterson is crafty. She has a lot of experience, and she could take this fight to the ground and end up edging a split decision. If it is 5 rounds, then it gets really fishy for Marina, who's never really probably been in a 5-round. I don't think. I have to go back and look at that. I should have probably done that. But either way, I don't think that she has that. Michelle Waterson has the cardio for this. So, man, I want to say Rebus, but because her takedown defense game is suspect, I'm just like, it's hard for me. But I'm going to go, or I'm not Rebus. I'm going to say Rodriguez because I think that she's better standing in the clinch and with meanness and ferocity. But if she gets taken, she can get taken down multiple times on Waterson and schooled. So I'm very hesitant to say it, but I'm going to go with Marina Rodriguez wins this fight and ends up just showcasing her skills and moving on. But don't get it twisted. Michelle Waterson, the vet, can easily school her. So I just want to say thank you to 199 of you live, the 20 awards. Each and every one of you kick your bass on Twitter. Jackie Girl, Jamie Birch, every single one of you, Prime himself, MMAforMoney.com. Make sure you go get yourself a package on MMAforMoney.com. Like I said, the best NASCAR bettor ever, and in prime time in general. So anytime there's playoff sports, you want to have a MMA for Money package because he cashes like nobody's business. I really just can't thank you guys enough for being here supporting us. Don't forget to subscribe to us on your platform of choice: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Casts, RSS feeds, and Haps. Remember to subscribe to us on YouTube for both full-length shows as well as smaller tidbits to get you through the week. Like, comment, share, and spread the word. And with that, let's roll.